Nier is entirely covered in snow, ice, mystery, and fear. It is achingly, disturbingly cold. Despite all this snow, the world is almost completely devoid of weather. There's no Earth-like water cycle, no new precipitation falls. While the snow is chemically the same as the water-based snow found on Earth, this snow just inexplicably exists, and it exhibits some strange behaviors in that it exhibits behaviors. The snow appears to move on its own, swirling itself into blizzard-like flurries of frozenness, and crawling across the landscape in waves of undulating frost that seem alive. Scans indicate very few biological life forms. However, when we approach the world, we sense a presence that we can't quite explain. This sense grows stronger as we grow nearer. The scans continue to sense nothing, but we do. Something is down there. With the complete lack of weather, there's also no wind whatsoever, a near total absence of life, and a thick smothering of snow. We also anticipate the surface to be almost completely silent. Summary: snow that moves on its own, a mysterious, haunting presence, and absolute silence. Plenty to be unsettled about. Seems about right.
Well, with our core temperatures dropping and our body fluids threatening to freeze, we'd better get a move on before hypothermia soothes us into the great sleep with her numbing embrace.
Listen, space is hard.
Snow is soft.
And both want you dead.
First, set up the framework according to the standard rules.
Then each player receives an exposure card, places it near their dashboard, and places a protected token on the space designated by the card with the protected side face down.
On the scarab, place a protected token with the protected side face up.
Next, place the snow behavior card within easy reach of all players. It doesn't matter which side is up.
In the area designated for planet-specific cards, shuffle, stack, and place the mystery cards.
The discovery chits have identical backs. Place them face down and mix them up, then place them in the discovery tray, keeping the backs showing.
On Nier, it's important
for secret reasons
that you play task A before playing tasks B or C.
So Nier is covered with an abundance of thick, heavy snow that makes movement more time-consuming. As you explore, effects will add snow to the environment and then move that snow around, making navigation increasingly difficult and unpredictable.
Black markers are used to represent snow accumulation large enough to affect your movement. Any time an effect adds or removes snow from a node, simply add or remove that number of markers.
Now, when a snow marker is present on a node, it increases the time cost of crossing that card's node edges. So, whenever you take a move or a traverse action, add up the snow markers on the node you're leaving and the node you're entering and advance time by that amount.
For example, this movement would advance time by 3 because there are 3 snow markers on the 2 involved nodes. And that's the gist.
Markers are snow and snow equals time. Because they may come up, here are a few other snow-related details to help things run smoothly.
If an effect places you on a node, you do not resolve the snow-induced time.
Snow can be added to unrevealed nodes. You just add the marker to the back, and when the node is revealed and flipped face up, the snow remains present.
Distress and exposure effects, which we'll talk about shortly, don't care how much snow is on a given node.
Snow can be added to the scarab.
Nodes that offer the protected property can still have snow added to them as normal.
If you need to place a snow marker but none are available, remove all snow markers from the board and then place 2 on each explorer's node. That's 2 snow per explorer. So if these 2 explorers were on the same node, then you would add 4 snow markers to it.
Oof. While snow messes with your movement and makes getting about a bit of a puzzle, that may not actually be the planet's biggest threat.
The mysterious, invisible presence haunting the planet's surface causes you to gain distress each turn, unless you find a way to gain the protected property to insulate yourself from its influence.
Each player has an exposure card with a token on it. Anytime an effect instructs you to gain protected, flip your protected token to the face-up, protected side. You will now be protected from the effects of the mysterious presence when you resolve your exposure card at the end of each of your turns.
Let's take a look at these cards a bit more closely.
At the end of your turn, you resolve your exposure card. When you regroup your focus to end your turn, place your focus cubes onto the exposure card to remind you to resolve the card's effects. Step by step, in order. We'll go through them here, but they are listed clearly on the exposure card. Just do what the card says.
Step 1. Resolve the snow behavior card by rolling a discovery die, performing the resulting effect, and then flipping the card. These effects will cause the snow to mess with you in messy ways. In the event that you can't resolve the effect, like if you're instructed to place a snow marker off the map, then you can ignore that part of the effect.
Step 2. Then, if you don't currently have the protected property, then you gain a distress. The protected property comes from a variety of places, mostly from the token on your exposure card, or if you're on a node that grants you that property. There are other means of having it as well.
Step 3. If your protected token is flipped upward, granting you the protected property, flip it face down.
And finally, step 4. Resolve the effects of any distress cards you currently have in the order of your choosing. Note, distress does not resolve when gained. It is only resolved during this step of the exposure card resolution.
And that's basically it. Snow equals time, and resolve the exposure card at the end of your turn.
An important thing to remember is that all of these various snow behavior and exposure effects can be interrupted by free actions.
Also, don't forget that you have access to the science structures and a multitude of investigatable opportunities to aid in your survival.
And with that, we will fall as silent as the snowy ball of mysteries you're about to crash into. May the snowflakes cover your tracks, progress, and fallen comrades slow enough for at least some of you to escape.
Space, it's hard.
Try not to die.